All right. I had a student ask me last week, how fast do you want to move when you fight? Well, it's a simple yet complicated answer. Simple in the fact that you only want to go as fast as you can control your center. Complicated in the fact that you have to be able to control your center. So, that being said, let's go back and let's review actually what it is to find your center and then ultimately try to control it. So how do we learn to do that? Well, we actually can do that through the forms. So let's start with Silam Tao. I'm going to ask Ed here, or R2D2 for today's demonstration, to get into Ichikimima. Let's just go over the simple process of why you do it. Okay, let's get the way we do Ichikimima. All right, so actually let's start from the very beginning. This is the standing part. Okay, even from here, you want to develop a little awareness of where your center of balance is. So you want to be able to stand up straight. The whole idea is to be able to stand up straight and then put that straight plane into the center of your foot. So imagine, if you will, you have a fence post, okay? So that fence post, you don't want it to be leaning forward, you don't want it to be leaning backwards. That fence post has to be seated correctly into the ground, straight up and down. And with that, I need to be able to, wherever I dig that hole, well, I need it to be in the center of that hole. So I need that fence post to be straight up and down, and I need it to be in the center of the hole. So our body is the fence post. The center of our hole is the balance between the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. So I don't want to be leaning forward, I don't want to be leaning backwards. So even from the very beginning here, we're already trying to do this. So as he continues to open up, crosses his arms, circles, pulls back. So there's a lot of stuff that obviously goes into the whole process here, but I'm going to focus more on just the idea of the vertical plane, or standing up straight and then centering the body. So even from this process here, you want to be doing that. Yes, obviously you're learning to move your hands, but the bigger picture of what you're trying to do in Silam Tao, Chum Kyu, Bu-Ji is all about awareness of your center and ultimately making it move, all while maintaining that straight up and down position and keeping your body in the center of the foot. So from here, as he bends his knees, roll the hips forward, don't lose sight of keeping your body straight. I see out of my periphery of the eye. So if you lose sight of that, again, you'll lose sight of holding your center. The center makes everything go in Wing Chun. Without your center of balance, you won't be able to attack, you won't be able to block, you won't be able to make anything function. Think about throwing a ball. You don't throw a ball off balance. Why would you do anything else in Wing Chun that way? So as he does the next step and he opens his feet, stop here for a second, even during this point right here, you want to make sure that you have your balance in the center. I don't want to be feeling any weight in the heels of my feet. I don't want to be feeling any weight on the balls of my feet, keeping the body straight up and down. And as he opens up to the last part right here, good. So this is where the center should really be seated. Shoulder width apart, keeping the body upright and keeping the body in the center. So remember, how can you check this? Well, do you feel any weight on the balls of the feet? Chances are you're leaning forward. Do you feel any weight on the heels of the feet? Chances are you're leaning backwards. Now, what can throw this off too? Well, here, turn to the side for a second. Now, let's take a deeper look at like the little mistakes that he was doing there. If he leans back this way, okay, you see how much is on the heel of his foot? So easily to get pushed over that way. That's no good. To hold your body this way right here is to mean that you actually have to use more muscle. Wing Chun is all about positioning the body correctly, using the minimum amount of muscle for the maximum effect. Well, what does that mean? Well, if I put my body in the right position, then I can stand easily, just natural tension, just like I'm standing around normally. But if he leans back, he's actually using more muscle to hold his body in this position here because he can't use his skeletal frame to rely on. So that's, in Silam Tao, you can go back now. In Silam Tao, yes, it's really to make your arms move, and you have to learn how to move your arms. There's no doubt about that. But the bigger picture of what you're trying to do in Silam Tao, and it takes a long time to really be able to develop this, is finding that center, finding your center of balance and be able to keep it upright. And the progression of form is what that's teaching you. Through Silam Tao is teaching you to find that in a single spot. Now, if he goes back to Ichikima, yeah, you can say that way. Now, as he goes, actually, this will be good. So as we progress to Chum Q, and he goes into shifting, notice he's still maintaining this vertical plane right here. And he's keeping his body in the center. So that's what Chum Q is teaching you. In Silam Tao, you're teaching how to find that center in a single static spot. But now Chum Q is teaching you how to shift with that and maintain that center while shifting. And ultimately while stepping with that too. You can't lose sight of that while you're doing Chum Q. Yeah, you're doing more hand motions and there's so much that goes into that. It's true. But the point being is that you have to be able to learn to control your center. Without that control of your center, everything that you apply will turn into muscle. It absolutely will be, because there's no other way for your body to support that. Because the more that your arm travels away from your body without that understanding of how to connect it and how to make the body go, it will turn into muscle. There's no question about that. So, as we progress towards BUG, so now we've got Silam Tao teaches you how to find your center in a static position, not moving. Chum Q is teaching you how to shift that center and ultimately how to move it laterally. Now, and remember, the awareness is what you're trying to find. Not just move it, but to be aware of the sensation of controlling your center while it's in motion. Because again, if you're not controlling it, then it's out of control. It's out of control, then it can be easily pushed over, taken to the ground, anything. You ever wonder why football players, it looks like, okay, this running back is just going, as fast as he can, but it looks like he barely got touched and he falls to the ground right away. It's because when these guys are running, they are so leaning forward that their center of gravity is pivoting forward. It doesn't take much at all for somebody to come in and disturb that. So that's why when we practice Wing Chun, never on the balls of their feet. Boxers do that. Boxers do that for their own thing. I tell you, boxers do that because they want to try to keep they think like, during a sparring competition that they have to keep their body in motion to make that move. Well, yeah, there's some truth to that. But again, you're not going to be as in control of your center. So, but in an actual fight, you're not just going to be standing there and be like, okay, let's do this. No, as soon as the fight happens, both people are going to be in motion. So that control of your center is already going to be happening. But people think like, okay, to apply Wing Chun, I'm going to stand there and just let this guy come in on me and do that. No, when that sound goes off, when that bell goes off in your head, both parties are in motion. But again, it's aware of the control of your motion that it's so important. So now, as we progress to BUG is now teaching you to find that that center, and now you'll be able to control it and pivot it forward and backwards. Let's do that last part of BUG. Actually, do it from the side. So again, you see his upright position here. But now you see he's actually able to bend forward. See, people do this and they wonder, why the hell do we do this? Well, again, it's awareness of control of your center. Now it's teaching you how to pivot the body forward while maintaining the awareness of control of the center. And notice he's not leaning forward or backwards on his heel. That's the importance of that, can't be said enough. So now that you've got realized, wasn't there somebody who said that forms were useless in Wing Chun? But I don't know, whatever. So forms play such a critical role, and they go so deep. It's just, again, your awareness to find out how deep they go. And people get so caught up in, doing the hand motions of Wing Chun, which are extremely important and fun to do in their own right. But to make the Wing Chun car function as best as it can, that center has got to be the focus of that. There got to be time spent on that right away. Or, well, not right away, but a lot of time. So, to practice your center, obviously you can go through all three forms, but don't just focus on just you doing the hand motions. Ask yourself, when I'm doing Silam Tao, how am I standing when I'm doing that? When I'm doing the motion here, how is my body standing? Am I just focusing on just my arm, or is my body upright? And do I feel my body in the center? Am I leaning forward with that? Am I leaning backwards with that? These are all stuff that you can ask yourself while doing the motions. Don't get caught up in just doing the hand motions. In the beginning, I understand that's part of the process, but as you go along the path and keep walking it, you'll find that focus, come back, learn to practice that center more and more every day. I can't tell you all the time. Still, even where I'm at, still learning the importance of the center at higher level to try to understand it, make it function, make it go, connect everything together. So some of the basic drills that you want to do is that just do some basic footwork drills. We've got a simple pattern we'll do. We'll just do the first half of it. Just do a simple forward step, backward step, forward brace, backwards brace. Okay, when you do this, again, how fast do you want to go? Well, again, how well can you control your center? If he goes super fast without controlling his center, see, all off balance. He's going backwards, forwards. That's no good. It's no good to practice that way. Sometimes with Wing Chun, the hardest thing to do is learn to be patient with it. Learning to go at that snail's pace can be extremely mentally frustrating to do. I get that. I've been there. Everybody's been there. You do Wing Chun, you've been there at some point. But to progress, that's what you've got to do. If you love it, that's what you will do. So as we just do this simple drill, forward step, backward step, check your center here. Do you feel, 1, are you standing upright? 2, are you on the balls of the feet, heels of the foot? The stance right here is just like Ichikima. The sensation you have in Ichikima is the exact sensation you should have when you do this footwork here. He does a backward step. When you do Ichikima, it should be the exact same sensation. Standing upright, not leaning back, not leaning forward. He does forward brace. Same sensation here. Not leaning back, not leaning forward. Body should be upright. And finally, backwards brace. Now, you've got to do that checklist every time that you do the footwork. And then you can progress to freestyle footwork. But don't get too far ahead. Go through the basic drills first. If you can't do it in a simple drill format, there's no way you'll be able to make that to perform during Chi-Sao. You can't bring it perform during Chi-Sao. There's no way you'll be able to make it perform when you do any type of street application. You've got to always try to work backwards. If your freestyle application sucks, then you got to go back to basic drills. If basic drills suck, then you got to go back to even your Ichikima. If your Ichikima sucks,